PS Viters, 'tis I, Mike Martins, your handheld junkie. And man, I spent an entire week playing Child of Light for the PS Vita. Man, it was a great week playing this game. Let me tell you guys how it went down. Beware of the night. Embark on a fantastic journey and defeat the Dark Queen to save the kingdom of Luminaria. Now let's hop over to our friends over at Wikipedia. Let's get Ida, our artificial intelligence, to give us a debriefing on Child of Light.
Hey there, Mike, you handsome of a man. Well, here goes. Child of Light is a platforming role-playing video game developed by Ubisoft. The game's story takes place in the fictional land of Lemuria. Aurora, the child who wakes up in Lemuria after dying from a mysterious illness, must bring back the sun, the moon, and the stars held captive by the Queen of the Night in order to return home. Child of Light's gameplay is described as having attributes of a side-scroller with role-playing elements such as leveling up to increase stats over time. Battles with enemies use a system similar to the active time battle system found in games like the Final Fantasy series and the Grandia series. The player can control up to 2 characters during battle, and swap these 2 with waiting characters. Up to 3 enemies can appear during battle. If the player approaches an enemy from behind, the battle becomes a surprise strike, giving the player an advantage. If the enemy approaches the player from behind, it becomes an ambush, giving the enemy an advantage.
Well, thank you very much, Ida, for the Wikipedia review. Now, let me tell you guys what I thought of this game. It's almost like Alice in Wonderland versus The Wizard of Oz, kind of, in a good way, in a non-childish way. I'm going to recommend to play this with earphones on and crank it up. The slow eeriness of the one-keyed piano in the background is very eerie and dark. And put your headphones on, play it in the dark. It's not a scary game. It's the music, that eerie ping, 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 orchestral type of music. Very good. Very catchy, very attractive when you're getting into the story. There's not a lot of talking in the game, just a little bit at the beginning, a little bit of story, and kind of a spoiler alert, it is a very eerie story, dark. Through the game, you're looking through the veil, kind of like a curtain, and seeing your family on the other side. One thing that I've really attracted about the game is how you could avoid enemies at any time you want, or you could just jump into them and level up. It is turn-based strategy, but the turn-based is based on little levels at the bottom of when your turn is up, and you could use spells and abilities to slow down your opponent's turn if you want, or you could even shut him down. Or if you hit him with a critical hit, he's just frozen basically, and he can't even get to his turn to hit you back. The game starts getting a little bit harder once you reach the young circus worker that's looking for her brother, and she joins you. And they start picking up other people along the way. That's why I call it kind of like a Wizard of Oz-ish / Alice in Wonderland type game, because some of the enemies you do play are very interesting looking, so to say. The game is very long, though. It does take a bit of time. The background, I noticed, looks like it's all hand-drawn, which is really good. The music ties in very nicely. The game itself, as a whole, I mean, I give this a 4.9, a 5 out of 5 easy. There's really very little flaws in the game. The only thing is you have to kind of know to go up the stairs or maybe to go behind a certain section, because it is kind of a 3D side-scroll, though. So it's side-scroll, but there's a little bit of 3D elements to it where you got to walk up a bit to move up, and sometimes you don't catch that, so you think you hit the end of the screen, you're like, okay, what's going on here? I like the fact that you can go back to other places to complete other areas. You have a nice logbook. The logbook allows you to keep track of where you're at and where you are, and then you got these secrets that you keep in the game, which you start unveiling as you go along. I like the talent tree is really cool, very optimizable. You could start your talent in a different area completely in the game as you level. It's not that hard to level at all. It's actually a lot of fun unlocking new abilities and different stuff, different passive actions. Then you get these stones, okay? So you go into your stone section. You'll see it there, what I'm talking about. And you take these stones and you start to putrefy them or modify them. And you can take 3 red stones and make 1 big one, and then you can take 3 big ones and make a giant one. And then you add them to your armor, or you add it to your weapon, or you add it to your ability, and it gives you either fire, water, or to your armor. It gives you negation against fire, water, electricity, all kinds of different stuff you could use. And once you unlock the guy with the beard, that guy's so cool. The guy that looks like from Golden Axe, if you played Golden Axe, or I'm just trying to think what he looks like, the guy from He-Man, the little guy with the beard. Kind of almost like... anyways, once you unlock him, he's got all kinds of spells. He's got all kinds of really cool spells that help slow down your opponents. And then your healer is your circus guy, the circus girl that you found, and she heals everything. And you could switch in between battles. During battles, you could switch, which is a really good thing. So when you switch, you don't lose your chance to hit, which in some games in turn-based, when you switch somebody out, what happens is you lost that turn. That was your turn. Well, in this game, when you switch out to get another team member or a party member on your team, you don't lose your turn, which is really good. And I like that. And yeah, modify those stones, guys. You start finding all kinds of really cool things to help modify your weapons and armor. Yeah, I just want to throw this out there. And you do go to towns, you do stuff, you do talk to people, you do find missions, you do find debriefings and stuff and things you need to find and help out, and you could go back. And once you start flying later in the game, it's so much fun. Anyways, Child of Light, I liked it. I spent a good time with it. I enjoyed it very much. I think the game has a lot of potential. It's a good time burner. If you're on a long trip or a long train ride, it's a great game to get into. But like I said, get that eerie music in your head, put the headphones on, listen to it, and that whole veil she looks through to see what's happening in the other world as she progresses through the game. It's kind of depressing, but it's good. Child of Light, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for watching.